You know the saying, be careful what you wish for? Well, now I understand that saying. I can't believe it. I mean, I cannot believe the change in the weather. Let me turn the camera on and show you where I camped. So here's the trail. There's a sign warning you no fires, and this is the trail right here. Okay, trail goes that way, and then it goes that way. You can see the white blaze there. So I tented right here, like literally spitting distance from the trail. Not the greatest spot in the world. Lots of tree roots here, as you can see, but you know, it was fine for one night. So, and let me just say, absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at these woods. You know, just kind of eerily beautiful. The moss growing on the ground, these trees with the moss growing on them. A really beautiful spot. But for the last week or so, it has been just brutal humidity. I mean, it was a struggle to stay hydrated. You were stopping every 5 to 10 minutes to take a swig of water, literally. I would actually look at my watch, and every 10 minutes I'd force myself to gulp down like 3 big gulps of water. And you were constantly worried about where's the next water stop, and they're having a drought in Maine. So some of the water stops are not as reliable as they normally are. So water was at the forefront of your mind for at least the last week or so. And it was hot. It was in the 80s. Heat index was pushing 90 most days. It was just brutal. It just sucked the life out of you. It was hard to make progress. It was hard to push uphill. And everyone was saying, oh my God, if it would just cool off, if it would just cool off and the humidity, you know, go away, you know, this would make life so much easier. Well, boy, oh boy, did we ever get what we asked for. Because last night, and all day yesterday, hot, muggy. I actually passed another hiker at the last shelter. He said he stopped at like 1 o'clock. He said I was getting nauseous and dizzy, and I realized I was, you know, suffering the effects of heat exhaustion. I said I'm stopping here, and he said he had already filtered 6 liters of water, and he'd been just drinking, you know, liter after liter of water all day, just rehydrating himself. I pushed on to here. This was about 2.7 miles past the last shelter. But I know what he meant. I mean, there were points where I felt like I was staggering down the trail, like, you know, I was like a zombie. It was just so brutal. So he says to me, you know, temperature's going to drop, but it's also going to rain. So sure enough, yesterday, just about 7:30, I had just, you know, I'd finished setting up my tent. I got my water. I got in 2 rounds of water, 0.2 miles down the side trail over here. By that yellow sign I just showed you, there's a pond down a steep hill. So I went all the way down, went all the way up, got my water, cooked my dinner. Was just about to eat dinner. It started raining. So I got in my tent, ate in my tent. I did everything I needed to. I got out at one point, put on my raincoat, brushed my teeth, cleaned up and everything, and then went to bed for the night. And it was still hot. It was raining, but it was still muggy. And so I went to bed, laying on top of my sleeping pad in my underwear because it was so hot. I was like, well, now it's like 60 degrees and damp and cold. You know, it's a 60 degrees, but it's a chilly 60 degrees. It's probably actually in the mid 50s. It's supposed to hit a high of 60, I think. So it's probably in the low to mid 50s right now. My fingers are actually cold, and I'm on the verge of shivering. Okay. It's unbelievable, the change in weather. So I got to get moving. I got to see how far I can get today. There's a privy 2 miles down the trail. I'm going to go there, use the privy, so I'm good for the day. And I'm just going to plug ahead. I'm not looking forward to hiking on wet rocks and roots and stuff. Today's another tough day. I got another mountain to go over. I think I go over that today if I can make it, or very early tomorrow, and then I'm done. Once I get over that mountain, I think it's called Whitecap Mountain. Once you come down the other side, everything starts to get a lot easier, all the way up to A-Ball Bridge. So that's my plan for today. I don't know how much it's going to rain, but it might be limited in the amount of video I shoot. Good morning, campers. And I am not a happy camper. I feel like I'm hiking in the Pacific Northwest. It's like Portland. Yesterday, it was like Virginia in August. Today, it's like Portland in September. It's cold and rainy and dreary. It's unbelievable. I can't remember such a drastic change in the weather in literally 12 hours. It went from hot and muggy and sticky and gross to cold and rainy. And it looks like it's going to be raining off and on all day. I'm going to make slower progress today because I have to hike more. Oh, little froggy. Hi, buddy. There's so many frogs in Maine. There's frogs and toads all over the trail. Constantly. I see dozens of them every day. Anyway, I'm going to have to hike slower, more deliberately, because it's just a death trap as far as slippery rocks and roots go. So I'm not going to be able to hike as far as I would have liked. Plus, I got a late start. I didn't get started until 8 o'clock. I overslept for some reason. My alarm didn't go off, or it didn't wake me up if it did go off. I must have been in a deep sleep. Boy, the rain is starting again. God. All right, so I got to get to the spot where there's a privy. I'm hoping I can make it there in under an hour. Use the privy, and then that'll be a load off my mind, in a matter of speaking. So anyway, might not be a lot of video today because it's just dreary and rainy and cold, and I just got to keep moving. So if something cool happens, I'll shoot it, but it might be a short episode today. Sorry.